Yo, what was I saying? Yeah, Wagwan. I'm Jeff Flybug from PRFCT Mandem, representing my plasma t-shirt and that. Nice one for following us on Instagram and that. Shout out, I know who you are, fucking smashed it. And so as promised, I'm gonna talk about the tune that I made. And this tune is called Living For The Sesh. It's a collaboration between me and Ashling, our first tune together. It's like hard-hitting dance floor tune, you know, when you play on the festival before you go to, like, you know, on the afters and the sesh. So basically just give all the energy you've got. It's like psytrance-y, hardstyle, dubstep, basically all shit together mixed up. Yeah, also cool news. We live in our own gaff now, finally. It means that we can do so much stuff and don't give a shit. Check this out.
Don't give a shit.
Yeah, we're still setting up, but really happy with the layout we've done. We're gonna do a separate video on that. However, yeah, let's talk about the tune. So I'm gonna go section by section and just gonna talk about each section. You can see the numbers. I go 1, 2, 3. So basically all these sections, they're just separate parts of the song. And let's start from 0 to 1. So it sounds kind of like this. Well, yeah, I'm gonna need to come back to you and just need to figure out how to save CPU because it's quite a heavy project. Cool, so I'm back and let's get going. So the first part sounds like this.
For the sesh, living 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 for the sesh.
We are living for the sesh.
So basically the idea is that, like, obviously the tune is called Living For The Sesh. So yeah, I recorded my friend Jake shouting in the microphone, living for the sesh, and then just process it slightly. So originally I started this project in DAW called Bitwig, so I've done a lot of like resampling from the previous, you know, projects. So like there are some files that I cannot like show, but let's say that's how, what does Jake sound?
Living for the sesh, living for the sesh, living for the sesh.
So yeah, Jake done a great job shouting at the mic. Good shouts, Jake. And
living for the sesh, living for the sesh, living for the sesh.
So with this one I just pitched it down, saturated the sound in general, just cut down the low frequency. So we got Jake. Thank you, Jake. So in the beginning, so obviously let's start with the beginning. Here we go. This sound. I'm a big fan of using the autopan. Basically what you do is, like, you know, what makes this sound like wobble like this. So without it sounds like this. And with this it sounds like this. So when there's, you know, all these sounds sound together, that's how it sounds like. Really sick. So you just put autopan, put phase to 0, so it means it's not stereo, it's just a mono signal, and just like you automate the amount and rate. I can do more in-depth videos about like the small sound design tricks if you want me to. Yeah, and sound shifter basically to make the sound more lively, you know, more interesting, not just plain electronic. So without sound shifter it sounds like this. with sound shifter. You know, it's just like small details, like it's makes a lot of difference, make the sound more lively, more interesting. You know, when you listen to this tune on repeat, it doesn't get as boring as it would have if everything would be too plain. If you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yeah, I just found on internet some sounds of like glitches and stuff. You can obviously do it yourself. Oh no, sorry. Actually, this is the one I did myself. I think what I did, I just pitched Jake's shouts and just transposed his vocals like massively like up, and basically yeah, I just made this cool sounds and I just recorded them. Let's take Jake, and then let's just pitch this guy. What's gonna happen here? Yeah, you get the idea, basically. That actually sounds sick. But yeah, you can do plentiful of stuff like this in Ableton, and that's what I kinda like it for. Just nice stadium kicks. I just wanted to come up with this idea, like, you know, anthem kinda beginning where, I don't know, what it was called? Queen, where that tune. Something like this, so people can, you know, anticipate something, that some shit is about to go down, you know. Also they can relate to something because they heard something like this before. Claps, nice stadium claps. That's I just have this. I actually recommend to use, you know, for producers that are not fussy about, you know, using samples, because fucking services like Splice is really sick. You can just get like decent, you know, samples and shit. Literally don't need to, you know, download whole libraries. You know, when you need inspiration and get the ideas down really quickly, just go through some Splice libraries, just put a, I don't know, tag what you're looking for, kick, snare, whatever, like favorite artist, shit like this, genre you're looking for, let's say hardstyle. So yeah, shout out Splice, smashing it, boys. Yeah, this is the brass. With the brass, I really like the sound. So obviously it sounds a bit, you know, like too on a high frequency spectrum, but like obviously when it's all together it sounds kind of like this. So there are some other sounds to complement the, you know, to bring some mid-low range. So this thing, what I threw here, I threw some erosion, corpus. Corpus is a really cool plugin. So what it does is, like on the setting pipe, I kind of use this setting a lot on different tunes I'm working on right now. Just brings this nice, interesting, you know, feel to the song, the sound to the song. Sounds like a brass. Shout out, I mean, good brass. I mean, my brass is sick, I'm not gonna lie. But this though brings this elephant kind of sound to it, didn't it? So basically later on in the tune, on the drop, I put some elephant sound because I got inspired by the sound of this brass with the corpus on. They just brought this like elephant sound to it, so I was like, alright, cool, we got some connection. Then some EQing, also again sound shifter pitching thing to make it sound more interesting, because you want to sound interesting. If you know my tune with J-Man, Rhyme Designer, I have this specific sound that I use all the time. Well, not really all the time, but in a couple of my tunes. And when I make a tune, just like, you know, create my own sounds and stuff, and just like make a sample library of this, I really recommend doing this for yourself, because you can come back to your sounds and just use them in the other tracks and just, you know, pitch them, you know, do whatever you want to do with them, as long as it sounds cool. And yeah, I'm gonna release this pack at some point soon, so if you're actually interested, if you're a music producer and you want to get a bit of cool sounds, let me know and I will sort you out. So yeah, I found this sound on Splice, and so you just make a sampler, and then let's just find this sound real quick. My days. loop start. Oh, there you go. Still getting used to it, boys. Don't judge. Don't judge. So. So you get the idea, basically, and then you just put a glide on it because, you know, if you like it, put a glide on it. And let's increase some time. I've never done it on the sampler. I'm still new to it again, but that's something that I would imagine you will do. Smashed it. We got this impact that actually make the fucking good intro, you know, they do their job. Nice, isn't it? And guess how I did it? Of course, I put some autopan on it. Without autopan, yeah, it sounds fair, good, and that, you know, good impact. Shout out, who is it? Cymatics, nice. But with autopan is a completely different story. Sounds more mysterious, more like, you know, whoa, like wow. Violent build up, so. But then it just goes up, you know. And just some sample of riser because you want some rises. You know, because who you are without riser. Yeah, and pre-drop sound sounds kind of like this.
Wait up, living for the sesh.
Vocals, but the actual vocals I just went to text-to-speech generator. I seem to do it quite a lot. I actually like it, you know. I just like the way it sounds, you know. You can hear it in many tunes, and it gives this cool electronic, you know, serious pre-droppy vibe, you know. It's nice and neat. So let's go. Let's start from here.
Wait up, living for the sesh.
That kind of, you know, the inspiration for that kind of music came when me and Aisling, we went to that rave in Manchester. Happened, I think, in February or March, called Hellfire. It was time of our lives, you know. It's hard style rave. We were afraid to go there, you know. You never know what to expect, you know. But it probably one of the best raves I've ever gone to. This music has special type of in my heart. It's just, you know, the sound, the aggressiveness, and fucking, you just go for it. You just, you know, you go for it. Energy, pure energy. So we want to achieve something like this. Obviously, I had to save some, you know, power, so it doesn't sound exactly the way it's supposed to sound. But trust me, the final version is gonna sound sick as fuck. Anyways, well, I hope it will. Well, it's better be. It has to be. It will, yeah. Let's start with the kick to get it out of the way. So my kicks and basses and snares and stuff like this, like at the end of the project, I just send them to my drum and bass send channel, so they all being routed here, and they're just being limited by a limiter, you know. So it's easier to mix, you know, and easier to control the sound, you know, when it comes to actual mixing the sound and stuff. Why are you doing a kick drum? There's a lot of processing going on this kick. The reason is because I did some stuff on a Bitwig, and then obviously rendered the sound to put it in Ableton, then did some modulations here. So this kick is literally so tired of being processed On this chain at the moment, we've got some compressors, some compressor bring some beefiness, saturation, bring some The reason, obviously, it sounds shit like on like when it's soloed, but when you play it all together in the mix, it kind of sounds bad. It punches through. So basically, that's what we want to achieve for the whole mix sound, not just individual stuff. Obviously, we're talking about mixing stage. I'm at kind of at the mixing stage right now. Equalizer, just to give that punchiness through, in some certain frequencies. You can feel the drastic differences. Yeah, and glitch I use as an effector, because in some, like in this genre, you get this like small breakdowns where like sounds just go all over the place, then come back and start keep going again. So I sidechain my bass. I just create a MIDI channel, like operator, whatever, sounds that, something like this. Mute the actual sound, because I don't need the sound, but I need the signal that the sounds create. So just put a MIDI note on each parameter, on each kick, and just send this sidechain signal into my chain, boom, scrap, and then you get some signal. Nice. So obviously compress, sidechain, audio from, you can YouTube it, whatever, or unless you want to ask me how to do it, and I could create a separate video for you how to do it and show you some tips and tricks on creative sidechaining. Let's say not just like volume, but let's say what if the one sound sidechains the frequencies of the other sound, using an equalizer and stuff like this. Really clever stuff, and I can tell you how to do it. Subscribe on that. Let's come to the bass. In order to achieve that psytrance kind of feel, I just chopped many different sounds. I use some of my sounds from my library, just like, transients, a lot of like transients and stuff, and just layer them together. It's literally just a layering game, like you can see here, like so individually they sound like this. Let's say if I go nice. And all together it sounds like this. Isn't it beautiful? And obviously what I get here is my equalizer. For the equalizer, just put some frequencies, like multiband compression. Smack Attack is really cool plugin by Waves. So you can see what it does. It increases the attack of my sound. So give more transients for your plucky sounds, like kick, snare, bass, whatever, wherever it fits to be. You can use Smack Attack and just give this extra transient, and you can control your transients in that. And obviously saturate after that, then some limiter. And then I went even more glitch. Glitch is like to make the effect. Bass goes all over the place in some parts of the song. Compressors for sidechaining, then more saturation, OTT, another Smack Attack, EQA. And I'm sure it's not necessary to do that the way I did. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So that's what I did. There's two more compressors, different sidechains. It's because I have this bass coming in the dubstep part at the end of this tune. So I'm gonna use different compressors to control different, time of the volume of the sound. There's sounds of Cashmere Animals, Elephant Cry. I'm sure there's so many tunes that use this sound.
Wake up, living for the sesh.
this part of the song I have this sound which I cannot get rid of. I tried to, you know, substitute it for anything, you know, any other sounds. Couldn't. I just really stick to this sound for some reason. I just fell in love with it, and, you know, so I decided to go with this. So I did. There was a sample I found on Supply. It's literally was just like pew. Put them, you know, sound together so they sound like this. Yeah, because originally it sounded like this. That's it. Again, sidechain, the same as on the bass.
We are living for the sesh.
Exciting stuff. Oh yeah, obviously I used some like orchestral drums. I'm a big fan of orchestral drums, you know. What's it called? Heaviosity damage. Fucking love it. And obviously, let's transition to the next part of the song.
Here we go, here we fucking go, here we go, here we fucking go. We are living for the sesh, we are living for the sesh. We are living for the sesh. We are living for the sesh.
Big fan of hardstyle, always been since like 12 years old, so I really like this, you know, motifs, like everything is nice, happy, you know, like hey, Mandem, you know, on the festival, you know, you see people raving, it's so sick. This hardstyle kicks is just, you know, like, you could literally listen to it on its own. Aisling coming in with her vocals. We recorded them under the blanket. I think we have a video there. If I have, I'll show it. Recording literally this microphone. She's holding a microphone under the blanket.
Here we
Basically, some equalizing, some multiband compression, you know, to control.
Here we go.
On the you see, like, the thing about vocals, it's all about controlling. Like, if you don't control when it comes to mixing, mastering, you're gonna feel the distortion and all that stuff. So all the stuff you don't want to hear on the vocals, so might as well, you know, start controlling it now, you know, show it who the boss is, especially on the, you know, problematic frequencies. Let's say here we have a lot of like low, mid kind of frequencies, or mid frequencies, you know, in this range between.
Here we go.
Without.
Here we go.
If your ear is trained to some certain degree, you can already hear that, like, there is like some resonancy thing going on, like, on this spectrum. So basically, yeah, there's like boxiness in a way, because also we have reverb thing going on and all that stuff. It will be just like resonating more and more, and by controlling it, so multiband compression, you don't want to just cut it, because, you know, it's gonna sound empty, a total, when it's, you know, but when it's reaching that threshold, when it's already need to be attenuated, that's when it starts attenuated, and that's what the multiband compression is, because it allows you to do what? Compress on a certain band of your frequency spectrum. This, so basically Aisling helped me to cut the, you know, certain frequencies that annoy her personally, because the thing is with me, as I recently got to find out, I can hear up to 15 kilohertz is like where my hearing range ends, and I know it's quite fucked up because usually a healthy person can hear up to like 17, 18K, and it's in my age. I don't know where I managed to mess it up that way, but basically, I don't hear, this really high frequencies. So obviously I needed someone to help me, to control these frequencies. So obviously Ashling has a good hearing, and she was telling me that some frequencies annoy her and I couldn't hear them, so we were literally sitting together and cutting them. And basically teamwork.
Here we go. Here we fucking go.
Did some more work on this.
Here we go.
I like Fab Filter because you can really see what is happening, where it's happening, and all that stuff. Then
we are living for the sesh. We are living for the sesh. We are living for the sesh. We are living for the sesh.
same like equalization, to kill some to attenuate some frequencies, control some frequencies. This boy is voice centric. Without it, it sounds like this.
We are living for the sesh.
With this, it sounds like this.
We are living for the sesh. We are living for the sesh.
So it gives that like a little, depth to it, some like a bit of more cinematicness to it, I'd imagine. Some more multi-band compression.
We are living for the sesh. We are living for the sesh.
I use a preset called single vocal enhancement, so basically it helps me to, stabilize the vocal a bit more. Doubler, without it.
We are living for the sesh. We are living for the sesh. We are living for the sesh.
Just a bit, some stuff going on. And the limiter at the end, to top it up, boost it all nicely together and bring the overall volume. And then obviously on the master we've got
we are living for the sesh.
Fab filter, reverb, and limiter. So basically, yeah. So many Ashlings sing together.
Here we go.
Gives this extra epicness, you cannot deny it. You might, like, when we were recording this, I was just imagining the Victoria Warehouse concert space where we are at that Hellfire gig, and like if these vocals like started, coming in, I think I will start crying. Sometimes you get the vision that you properly hear what melody is like and all that stuff. So that's exactly the case. I knew what the melody will be like. It just popped in my head. It was just unison 16 of saw wave, just 4 months, and just like distortion and stuff. Basically, if you want me to leave you a preset, just give me a shout and I will happily share it with you, because it didn't take me that much effort to make it and it actually sounds nice. And I just did different variations of them. Yeah, what's cool idea, throw you make LFO and just like 1/64 rate, so like really quick, like, and you just throw this on your fine tune of your oscillator and it sounds like this. And without it, it sounds like this. A bit, like just static. And this vibration that it brings, it just gives this extra liveliness to the sound, more like, hey, like. But yeah, obviously all together they sound epic. this one is like a lead sound, pops out slightly above, and this one is like a cushiony lead sound. So together they're like a, you know, a beautiful team. Cool. So we have a hardstyle kick. I just use samples from Splice, you know, hardstyle. There's really good sample libraries and you can just download individual sounds. What I want to point out about making, you know, like hardstyle, especially when you're pitching the bass like I did in this tune. You know, the pitch is changing. If you change the pitch of your kick and let's say what I did here, I saved the attack, so my attack is always consistent. You know what I mean? And all is changing is the actual body of the kick. You know, because if you're gonna be changing it all together as a whole, your kick will start losing its transient and is gonna be getting lost in the mix. Doing with this technique, it will allow you to control your transient of the kick, and in general will help you to actually bring, you know, your kick to fit it in the mix nicely and do whatever you want with it without risking it, losing it, you know, it's proper kick. Because in hardstyle that's what you want this like a slap to your face, like, you know, a slap that is like half palm of your hand and half a knuckle, so it's kind of like, you know, like it's really good one, you know, like if your face takes it, you know, it might not recover. That's what you want to achieve. So yeah, I'll separate your attack of the kick and your body of the kick and pitch your body whatever you want, but you know you got it going just like here. What I noticed as well, pitch of the body is changing. It's slightly, you know, starts to, you know, lose its quality, and with consistent attack it actually helps to maintain overall picture of the kick, and it still sounds kind of alright. And obviously I threw a lot of processing like on the kick. Is like it's our bass, I use it a lot for basses. It's like brings a lot of like low frequencies, so brings this harmonics, you know, like you can feel more harmonics of the low frequencies. And multi-band dynamics, yeah, just like ODT. So the next part, which is the last part of the song.
However, if the sesh becomes a habit, you can burn out and it gets boring. Our brains need stimulation. Aha, you might say, that is precisely what the sesh is for. But be careful, seshes are not as rewarding in the long term as doing your homework.
We are living for the sesh.
Don't worse, there'll always be another one. A true hedonist would find a job what they love doing. Then they're happy all the time, because living for the sesh is actually a bit limited.
So I found this video of this lady just doing this funny video about like living for the sesh. And some stuff that were taken from the intro.
However, if the sesh becomes a habit, you can burn out.
We are living for the sesh.
Yeah, nothing that much new, just some slightly modulated, differentiated sounds. And then we go to actual drop, so we have inspiration for this drop came from the tune from this producer called Gammer. Fucking love his music, and this tune got the drop, and he had the similar drop. So there in this 7 and 8 part, there's different dubstep styles. You get this kind of dubstep, there's more commercial, more EDM, and this part there's more rhythm kind of dubstep, like Company, Space Laces, that kind of stuff inspired. I used their sounds from their libraries, and just modulated them a little bit. It's a little bit cheeky, but I just wanted to bring this overall vibe, the shit is just going down and down and down, because it's more hard, more love it. So for my drums I used my kick is just one. Kick is I used it in Bitwig, some processing and all that stuff, but yeah, again it's just compression and all that stuff. Snares, I used different types of snares, just layer them together, and that's how you come up with some interesting snares. And then I got this thing. Whoa, nice. I like to use my crashes on this, pretty much like this. You can hear in a lot of my tunes I use the same crashes. Just brings this nice noise to the bottom, so the tune doesn't sound as boring. There's some stuff going on. Just a nice transition between the parts. So brass, I used that brass and I just pitched it, did some pitch modulations. Okay, I used glitch to put a tape stop effect on the beginning of them, so they sound like woo, instead of I'll show, instead of like this. It just brings this extra boom, so it just sounds a bit more interesting as a whole picture. Yeah, it's just you can't really hear it that much, but it just brings this extra liveliness to the. We have bass is taken from the psytrance part. One dry, one wet. So yeah, just layer them together. I think I use Smack Attack to bring a bit more transient to them, and a bit more transient by just bringing more the ticky sounds. Then just regular sub for this part over here. Really like the sound. I used it on a few of my tunes, and really juicy. I used it as a sub, and I always throw OTT straight after my serum. I just always throw OTT on my sound, to bring that extra, beefiness straight away, so I can work from there. And what else? So these are sounds I found from Splice. This sound is really beefy. I love it so much. It reminds of Space Laces kind of sound design. Really in your face and around. It just breaks straight away, different feel to it. Okay, boom. New part. It's just a pitch down square oscillator, easy as fuck. And here, recently I've been listening to a lot of Company, and I've seen that he actually released the sample pack on Splice, so I downloaded some of his sounds, and yeah, and just obviously put a lot of like compression on it. Oh yeah, this is actually sidechain, and the compression I think goes on the actual. Oh no, compression goes here. Then what goes here? Yeah, OTT. Then there's another OTT was going. Some more saturation, frequency shifter. Oh yeah. Yeah, in this part basically it's the same part, but I just consolidated it and just like automated the pitch so it just goes up. And I used the same space laces like sounds from the previous part, put them in here, and just took away the low frequency, so there will be more like a rhythmical top part rather than rhythmical body part to the tune, so it will sound like this altogether. Like, so now this constant sub takes over as a body and everything else is around. And you can feel the snare just like proper snapping, like boom, like, it hurts, I like it. And yeah, so basically in the rhythm part you like do kick and then snare and then kick and snare. Kick is always playing, with snare or without snare it's always playing, like. Yeah, I still need to work on this part, probably, go a little bit more crazy on this, but yeah. So yeah, compression for the basses in here is triggered by kick and snare. So this is kick channel, this is snare channel. Individual, levels, just as much as you need to, bring this punchiness for the drums, but maintain the sound, the volume of the bass as well. Yeah. So. And that's pretty much it. Cool, so, and then basically top it off with...
If you want to miss a sesh, don't was, there'll always...
Yeah, put some glitch effect on the bass to make it sound like a logical ending. I still need to finish the last part, obviously, and finish the whole mix to make it sound more nice, more softer in the sound. I want to make it sound softer, the whole tune. But like bass here as well, and yeah, just finish all the details and stuff. But as a like concept, it's already there, so that's the tune. Hopefully you liked it. You've learned some, lessons. And yeah, if you have any requests or stuff you want me to explain a bit more in depth, or you want me to talk about some other tunes I'm working on, just give me a shout, and I'll be happy to do it. Subscribe to Perfect Mandem because we have a lot of stuff to show. I will see you really soon, and stay safe and stay perfect. You're done though.